Welcome to John Ellis's Sports Channel, and it's League One. Week 27 is what it should be, but there's so many games being cancelled. It's week 26, week 27. We're going to call it week 27. It's Cardiff away at Bradford. So Bradford, Cardiff. Bradford in third, Cardiff in first. And what a game this one's going to be. Win, lose, win, win, lose, win for Bradford. And last time out, 2-1 win away at Blackpool in League One. Cardiff, though, lose, win, win, draw, win, draw. You know, they are losing points now. Last time out, a 1-1 draw away at Leyton Orient. And if you look at the last three games of Cardiff, it's 1-1 draw Wycombe, 1-0 win against Wigan, and 1-1 draw against Leyton Orient. They do seem to be having a little bit of trouble scoring. Just look at that game at Leyton Orient, for instance, at 1-1, and both those goals coming in the first half, and you realise that it's not for want of shooting. 17 shots for Orient and 11 shots for Cardiff. 5 on target for Orient, 4 on target for Cardiff. It's just the fact that they're not getting them in the net or enough on target, should we say. It's a strange one for Cardiff, isn't it? So Bradford versus Cardiff, what are you lot thinking? There are a lot of people with a draw here. Obviously, it's the main one for people predicting. There are a couple thinking that Bradford can do this with this easing off of scoring from Cardiff, and Bradford can score on the right day. But they too have had a problem. Last three games: 1-0 win, 3-0 defeat, and a 2-1 win. So. Slightly more likely to score 2. I'm going to go with Bradford 1, Cardiff 1, and we'll go to Wigan versus Bolton next, and we'll go to that game, and we'll have a look at the league positions. And we have Wigan at home in 15th, Bolton in 6th. But, and it's a big but, Wigan lose, win, draw, lose, win. The defeat was 1-0 against Cardiff, and like I say, not many goals scored again by Cardiff, but they did control the game quite well. Preston 0, Wigan 1 was the last game out for Wigan. Wigan winning it there, and again, much the same, in fact, a worse case than the last game we looked at. 12 shots for Preston. 2 on target. Wigan 10 shots on 10 shots at target. 3 on 3 of those 10 on target, and you can see that that FA Cup game was there for the winning, wasn't it? Really, with the poor Preston on target, shots on target, and they did it. And I think that Wigan did a really good job there, but Bolton, who I'm expecting good things of, and they are higher up the league. Win, lose, draw, lose, lose. Last time out, last 2 games, a defeat 3-1 to Peterborough, but they have and still are getting better and better, aren't they? And they've got out of that bottom position. And Port Vale defeat last time out, Bolton 0, Port Vale 1. 90th minute winner there from Ben Waine. And again, not many shots, 3 shots each on target. 11 shots for Bolton in total, 11 shots for Port Vale in total. Port Vale getting better, they really are. And they'll be really pleased that they managed to get those 3 points, because they'll soon be catching up the team above them, which of course is Rotherham. And I think that it's going to be a hard one to look at, isn't it? I think that this could be a really tough, I'm going to say dirty game, because I can see Wigan's brought in some really good players that have started to just gel for me. Bolton, they can play some really good football. I'm going to have to go with you lot, and there's a myriad of draws, and I haven't actually found one person who said either team's going to win it, so I'm going to go Wigan 0, Bolton 0, agree with several of you, and go to Wimbledon versus Doncaster. So Wimbledon versus Doncaster, do stay online if you like what we do and how we do it. Give us a like, give us a subscribe, why not? Wimbledon then versus Doncaster as we go forward. Wimbledon have climbed to 13th. They've sort of hovered around there, haven't they? Doncaster 23rd. And I didn't realise that they'd actually dropped below Rotherham. So 23rd, and it's a real difference from the beginning of the season, isn't it? Absolutely. Wimbledon lose, draw, lose, win, lose, win. Last time out, Mickey Mouse Trophy 4-2 win, and I have called it that all the way through the season. So when I come to Rotherham's, don't say that it's only because we're not in it anymore. We have said that all the way along. 4-2 win against West Ham United under 21s, and they are actually quite good, and which is why they're in this the last 16, isn't it? 4 goals though, 4 goals for this Wimbledon side, and they can score. 3-1 win against Orient, then a 2-0 win, a 2-0 defeat against Wickham, followed by that 4-2 win against West Ham. And they are shooting, they're scoring, and this Wimbledon side, 26 shots from this Wimbledon side in that game, 11 of them on target, which is pretty good. And 4 of those 11 in the net. That is brilliant, isn't it? So this Wimbledon side has stopped being lucky on the pitch in the last 2 or 3 games. They've been less lucky with the roll of the dice and the roll of the green. And actually they've been playing some good football, which is a change. And I've enjoyed the football now in the last 3 games rather than the games that before where they just happened to win it. Doncaster, though, from the top down to near the bottom, lose, draw, lose, win in the Virtue Trophy, 3-1 against Fleetwood. 90th minute, Doncaster let one in to make it 3-1 for Fleetwood. What can we say? Doncaster ran that game all the way through. Great defence, great attack, and almost 20 shots on goal. Last league game was Doncaster 1, Bolton 1, with an FA Cup and a Mickey Mouse Trophy after that. And even then, 13 shots for Doncaster, 6 of them on target, 1 in the net. They would have been disappointed they didn't sneak that one, because Bolton had 1 shot on target, 1 in the net, and it ended 1-1. So the Doncaster side on the opposite to Wimbledon, and Wimbledon used to get the run of the green. Doncaster aren't here, are they? They really not. They're not playing great football a lot of the time, but they can play some really outstanding football. And all of a sudden you think, wow, where did that one come from? So what are you lot thinking with Wimbledon and Doncaster? You're all going Wimbledon. 2-0s, 2-1s, and 3-2. So you're thinking there's going to be a lot of goals, and I can actually agree. I think that it may be a 3-2 win, but I'm going to go with that person. I'm going to go Wimbledon 2, Doncaster 1, and we move to Barnsley versus Blackpool, and this is going to be an interesting one from my point of view. You look at the league and you'll think it's going to be one way, wouldn't you? Because Barnsley are in 17th, Blackpool are in 19th. But Barnsley have come down to that position, haven't they? They've been way up there, well in the top half, and you can see them sort of dropping. But still, they've got some good players in there, and 6 defeats in 6 or 7 defeats out of 6 or 7 games. And that's a sort of a standard losing run, isn't it? Win, lose, draw, lose for Barnsley. You can see them coming out of this. You can't count the 4-1 defeat away at Liverpool. Absolutely not. But let's look at that Wigan game. The Barnsley won, Wigan won. And Wigan won, Barnsley won. Barnsley had Luke O'Connell red carded, of course, on 84 minutes. It's very difficult when you get red cards at this time of the season and injuries, because there's so many injuries around. It makes it quite hard to predict who's going to be on the pitch the next time round and whether they're going to be able to play a decent game of football. Barnsley controlled this 1-1 draw. Absolutely. But they didn't do anything with it. They kept 61% possession for Barnsley, but they didn't do anything with it. And Wigan did really well. 14 shots from their 39% possession. 4 of them on target. Not very good for them in this case. But out of 4 on target, 1 in the net. Barnsley, 3 on target out of 8 and 1 in the net. They can be a little bit clinical, Barnsley, but They need to be more. They need to use the possession a lot more. Will they do it here against Blackpool? Win, 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 lose, lose, lose. And they play such good football against Wigan, Doncaster. Then they started edge off against Rotherham. 4-0 win against Rotherham. And it could have been more. And then it was a 5-1 defeat straight after against Port Vale. A 2-1 defeat against Bradford and a 2-1 defeat against Ipswich in the FA Cup. You have to feel for Blackpool. They can be one side, they can be the other. It depends who's fit on the day. If they've got a good fit team, this Blackpool team can certainly beat this Barnsley team. However, what are you saying? Yeah, you're saying on the whole, you're all sides of it. 1-1s, 2-1 to Blackpool, 2-1 to Barnsley. I'm going to go for the home team. I think that Blackpool are a little bit too hit and miss for me. Barnsley 2, Blackpool 1. And we'll go to the next game. So let's continue with Burton versus Huddersfield. And it's Burton in... Okay, I didn't realise that they'd gone down to there. Burton in 21st now. And Huddersfield in 5th. Burton had played some really improved football, just gently improving it, bang, bang, bang. But of late, they seem to have just dropped off. Apart from that last game, let's have a look at Burton's. Draw, win, lose, 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 and win. FA Cup, Boreham Wood, 5-0 win, you'd expect it. But the game before, it was a Plymouth defeat. So it was Plymouth 3, Burton 0. And to be quite honest, Plymouth ran this game ragged. They should have had an awful lot more shots on target. 21 shots for Plymouth, 6 on target, 3 in the net. They have been getting really clinical in front of goal, this Plymouth side. Letting them have 6 shots at home, yeah, you're not going to forgive yourself for that, are you? 8 shots for Burton, 2 on target, and they only had 33% of the play as well. So they did rather well with the amount of play they got, I must admit, and they'd have probably been a bit upset that they lost by 3-0, to be honest. They should have had more of the gameplay. They had been improving up to that point, certainly up to the last 3 league games. Huddersfield then, win, draw, lose, win. A defeat away 1-0 at Stockport, which was a surprise for me. I don't think they were in it quite as much as I thought that they would be. And then it was the Rotherham win, of course, 3-0 at home to Rotherham in the Virtue Trophy, and that really should have been 4-5 or even 6-0. They just, at one point, I don't know how many shots Rotherham had. At one point, it was actually 0. We had 1 shot on target in the entire game, Rotherham. 4 shots at target in the entire game, and most of those coming in the last sort of 20 minutes. 70% possession to Huddersfield, 17 shots, 7 on target, 3 in the net. Like I said, it could have been 4, 5, 6-0. And that's what Huddersfield have been failing to do here, making the most of what they're doing. They're getting huge amounts of possession, but they're getting lots of shots sometimes. Not always, but sometimes. And you're thinking they should have walked away with games, and yet they're drawing, losing, and just winning games that they should have found easy. So Burton versus Huddersfield may be a little bit closer than you think. Burton have been improving. What are you thinking against a strong Huddersfield side? Yeah, you're all thinking 3-1, 3-0, 2-1 to Huddersfield. I think this Burton side can and probably will pick up that improvement again. They just have a bit of a blip. I think they'll pick it up. They are at home. Burton 1, Huddersfield 2, and then we go to Exeter versus Stevenage. Now, Exeter versus Stevenage is, again, another one of those games that, mid-table sort of games, really. Stevenage sort of pulling away from, down now a little bit further than what I thought they would do. Exeter, about where I thought they would be. Exeter 14th, Stevenage in 8th. Exeter win, lose, win, draw, lose. Last time, 10-1 defeat to Manchester City. Come on, you can't really count that, can you? The last league game then was Huddersfield 2, Exeter 2, 89th minute, solace there for Exeter. And realistically, it was probably Huddersfield really should have won this one, shouldn't they? Again, like we said, 15 shots for Huddersfield, 4 of them on target. Okay, it's not great, but it's sort of mid-table-ish, isn't it? Which is not what you expect from them. 4 on target, 2 in the net. That's actually pretty good. But in this game, Huddersfield gave Exeter almost 60% of the possession, and they still only could do 10 shots. But, and it's a big but, 6 of them were on target, 2 in the net. So Exeter can make a really good going of when they get possession. Will Stevenage give them the possession is the question, of course. Win, draw, lose. And you can see, let's go to the last game because it was a League One game. Luton 2, Stevenage 1. Luton winning it in 64th minute, just 11 minutes after Stevenage equalised. And this was you would have expected this game to be about 2-2 or 3-3. It was a really good game. There was almost 30 shots at goal in this entire game, evenly split between Luton and Stevenage. However, 7 shots on target to Luton, 2 in the net. 3 shots on target for Stevenage, 1 in the net. It was just a game of, for Stevenage, 15 shots, 3 on target, 1 in the net. They would have been going out there, where the hell did we get that? And yet they did. And they came away, Stevenage, with a defeat there. And a third of those shots were blocked, which means that Stevenage, on the whole, were trying to target the actual goal and try and miss defenders, but they did have a tendency to just whack it into the crowd of players occasionally. So Exeter versus Stevenage, what are you? Oh well, you haven't given me any hope. You haven't given me any hope at all here, have you? Exeter Stevenage 1-1, 1-1, 1-1. Guess what I'm going to go with? Exeter 1, Stevenage 1. I'm agreeing with everybody here. Leyton Orient versus Reading next, and Leyton Orient versus Reading. I don't know what to think of Leyton Orient. Leyton Orient in 18th. And Reading in 9th. Reading have been doing some really good football, haven't they? They have been improving. Leyton Orient then, lose, win, lose, draw. And it was a Bradford win, 2-1, which is really important. It was at home, but Leyton Orient, they can be up and down, can't they? Last time, though, and this is one of the ups, Leyton Orient won, Cardiff won. All the real good play here was in the first half for me. It seemed to be a bit Leyton Orient, let's just make sure, if we can draw this one, they're first in the league, aren't they, Cardiff? Let's just, not lose it. And I think they sort of went ahead and tried to keep it. And when Cardiff equalised on 33, it became a bit of a... Leyton Orient will try and take on the break. At 17 shots for Leyton Orient, 5 of them on target. 8 of them off target, so they were just going in there somewhere close, just fire away, and then pull back, and it worked for them. Leyton Orient won, Cardiff won. Cardiff had 61% possession, 11 shots, 4 on target, 1 in the net. They would have been going home thinking, we didn't do enough here. We allowed Leyton Orient to take us on the break, pull back and park the bus at the back. Reading, though, on a completely different story. Lose, win, draw, win. Last time out, a League One. Reading 1, Stockport County 0. Stockport have a really good defence on the whole, but here they didn't, did they? Reading, 12 shots, 3 on target. Not really that good, but 1 in the net. And at the end of the day, Stockport will rule the day, won't they? 15 shots, only 2 of them on target and none in the net. Stockport fans will have been absolutely gutted here. And again, Reading got the run of the green. So Leyton Orient not doing so well. Reading, for me, yeah, they are on song and they're getting the run of the green as well, which, tends to go in clumps, I think, whether it's the thought of the referee or not, I don't know. So Orient Reading, what are you lot thinking? 1-0, 2-1, 2-0, 0-2. Yeah, we have got people thinking. Most people are thinking Leyton Orient are going to win this one. I'm actually going to agree with the only person who said Leyton Orient 0, Reading 2. I think Reading have got the run of the green here, and I think it'll continue here as we go to the next game, which is the L's game here, Luton versus Lincoln, and this really is a good game. Luton is 7th, Lincoln in 2nd. The person who subscribed from Lincoln, who said, "Can we keep it up?" Absolutely. Looks like now that you're in January, I think yes, you can. Luton Town lose, win, win, lose, win, lose. Virtue Trophy 2-win, 2-1 defeat to Swindon. Can't count that. But Stevenage was the last game. Luton 2, Stevenage 1. And this side really does have to concentrate on trying to get up, doesn't it? Not Mickey Mouse trophies. I totally agree with that one for them. However, Luton Town 14 shots, 7 on target, 2 in the net. Not bad figures, completely good. I mean, you would have expected them to do better with almost 60% possession, perhaps, but that's been a bit harsh on them, isn't it? Stevenage, though, usually really good defensive, and how they let them have 7 shots on target, being so good in defence quite often, is a little strange. They themselves had 15 shots, 3 of them on target, 1 in the net, and Stevenage would have been gutted that they didn't come away with more than 0 points. They should have come away with something, I think, in that game, but they didn't. Lincoln, though, it's draw, win, 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 draw, win, and the last time out, Lincoln City 5, Peterborough 2, and this is important because Peterborough have been playing some really good football. They have been getting better and better and better. They've been clinical quite often, and they were here, Peterborough. So Lincoln City 15, they allowed Peterborough to have nearly 70% of the possession. And yet, with 32%, with 32% possession, Lincoln got 15 shots in, 8 of them on target, 5 in the net. I mean, how great was that? This was a game of skillful football by Lincoln. They did what they had to win, and a little bit more let Peterborough have the ball. They're not doing great with it, are they? But they did. I mean, 14 shots from their 70% is okay, but only 3 of them on target and 2 in the net. And again, they really were clinical. On a different day, they wouldn't have been punished at the back end as much as this. 5-2 to Lincoln. What the hell was that game? So you can see my problem here. It's this Lincoln side can do well, but they got hit with some really clinical firing. And they're going to get the same from Luton. They're absolutely going to get the same from Luton. That clinical ability from Luton is brilliant. So it's going to be a hard one. Luton versus Lincoln. 2-2, 1-1s. Actually, most of you going for draws. Nobody going for a Luton win. I'm going to go for a Lincoln win. And the only person who said it, I'm going to go Luton Town 1, Lincoln 3. I think that they can absolutely do this, but that defence, you're going to have to be very careful. They can be very clinical. Luton Town. Mansfield versus Port Vale next, and it's an improved Mansfield side, isn't it? That boring football's gone out the window all of a sudden. Draw, lose, win, 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 win. Last time out, we will count it because it's the FA Cup game. Sheffield United 3, Mansfield 4. All within 90 minutes as well, guys. And the stats here show that that it was all backs against the wall for Mansfield. 80% possession for Sheffield United. 23 shots, 5 on target, 3 in the net on a day On a normal day, that would have been 3-0, wouldn't it? Absolutely, with nearly 80% possession. But with just 21% possession, Mansfield on the break, 12 shots, which is absolutely phenomenal. Whenever they had their ball, that was in the final third. 6 of those shots were on target, 4 in the net. What is happening at Mansfield? This is a change extraordinaire, but so the same for Port Vale. I mean, Port Vale, you would expect them to be really, really down in the mouth. We've got Mansfield in 12th, of course, Port Vale in 24th. I forgot to say that, didn't we? 24th position side, lose, win against Blackpool 5-1, win against Fleetwood 1-0, win against Bolton 1-0, and you can see they're just doing enough here to win games, aren't they? And it was Bolton 0, Port Vale 1, 90th minute, and I tell you what, this was 11 shots each. Roughly 50% possession, 11 shots each, 3 on target each, 4 off target each. Brilliant possession football. I mean, the amount of passes in this game is well over 400, verging on 450 passes for both sides. This was a good game of football. Great passing, great possession. You couldn't split these two teams with a feather. Yet Port Vale came away with a win. Bolton would have been gutted in this one. They really would. Port Vale then, away at Mansfield. Mansfield, Port Vale, this is going to be a hard one, isn't it? But for me, Mansfield are showing signs of great improvement, but so are Port Vale. This is going to be 2-1. You're all saying 2-1. You're all saying 2-1 in each direction. I don't know which direction it's going to go. Which way shall we choose? Flip a coin. Mansfield 2, Port Vale 1. It could be either direction. Northampton versus Wycombe next, so let's go to that one. Northampton versus Wycombe. Northampton in 20th, and for me, just starting to wane now. The fitness levels just not quite there. Don't know where they're going to get the goals from either for them, but we'll have a look. Wycombe in 11th. Northampton then lose, win, lose, draw. Let's just look at the scores here. 2-1 defeat, 3-1 win, 5-1 defeat, 2-0 defeat, 0-0 and 0-0. Where are the goals going to come from? I haven't got a clue, but I tell you what, Bolton 0, Northampton 0 was actually a good game. And it was a good game for one reason. Bolton were reduced to just 0 shots on target out of their 17. Most of them blasted against players that Northampton had parked the bus with at the back. So Bolton couldn't get through that brick wall, just couldn't get through it. It didn't matter. Every shot seemed to be blocked here. 9 of these 17 shots were just blocked by defenders. So Bolton did their utmost. 17 shots. Northampton 8 shots. 1 on target. So not only did Bolton find it difficult to get through the brick wall, Northampton did as well. But Bolton play from the back, which means if they lose the ball, Northampton would have gone straight into this mass of Bolton players because they play from the back. It's been very, very effective. It will be effective. I think it'll be more effective in the second half of the year. Will it be effective here? It's going to be interesting. Bolton and Northampton, cancelled each other out very, very well there. So that's the Northampton-Bolton game. We go for Wycombe. Draw, win, lose, draw, win. Wycombe are all over the place. Sometimes they play good football. Sometimes they turn up. Sometimes they don't. 4-0 defeat away at Luton Town. And Luton are beatable, and especially by a good Wycombe side. But they just didn't turn up for me. Last time out, it was Wycombe 2, Wimbledon 0. And like I said, Wimbledon have been really good. When they get shots, they've been really quite good in front of goal. 13 shots here for Wycombe, 7 on target, 2 in the net. On a different day, this could have been 3 or 4-0. Because Wimbledon, 6 shots, 1 on target, none in the net. And they had 51% possession, Wimbledon. So, they couldn't complain they never had the ball. So, Wickham allowed them to have a good game, allowed them possession, but they did nothing with it. Mainly because of that Wickham midfield and defence. So it's gonna be quite hard because the Wickham's midfield and defence can be really, really solid, as you could see there with Wimbledon. So Northampton Wickham, I think, is going to be quite tough, and I can't see many goals. Some of you are saying Northampton 2-0, 2-1. One person said what I'm going to think, which is Northampton 0, Wickham 0. And we'll move on to Peterborough versus Plymouth. Now, Peterborough, like I said, they started off right at the bottom. Peterborough in 10th now, really have motored up the league. Plymouth in 16th, so they've gently, got improved, gently gone up the league, haven't they? But Peterborough at home, win, draw, win, lose, win. Lincoln City defeat 5-2 time before last, and you can see that the win against Bolton at home 3-1, it was a great relief to them. So Peterborough 3, Bolton 1. Really, it was basically clinic. It was the ability to turn a shot into a shot on target. Peterborough 60% possession. Okay, they did take hold of the game, but they allowed Bolton to have equally the same number of shots, basically. 16 shots for Peterborough, 7 on target, 3 in the net. Good game of football. They have been getting a little bit better up in front of goal for me, and that was proof in that game. Bolton, though, showed that Peterborough side can let goals in, and they can allow you to have shots when they shouldn't really be. They shouldn't be allowing you to do so. Bolton, 15 shots, only 2 of them on target, though most of them were just blocked by this Peterborough side, which shows that they chose to let them have the ball, let them have a shot, in the hope that it's not going to be too much of an open chance. Bolton did have more open chances than Peterborough, but Peterborough 3, Bolton 1 at the end of the day. So let's have a look at the Peterborough-Plymouth game. Plymouth win, lose, draw, win. 3-0 win at home to Burton. 3-4 win away at Bristol Rovers, but you can't really count that. So the 2 games before that were 1-1 Wickham and Stevenage. So the Burton game then, Plymouth 3, Burton 0. Surprised me, this one, because Plymouth did run this game very well. This is the Plymouth of old. When they play at home, you can see them winning sort of 3-0, 3-1 at home. And it was always the score. They always get 2 or 3 at home. Usually 3. 66% possession, kept hold of the game. 21 shots, 6 of them on target, 3 in the net. Damn good game. Did they stop Burton from having shots? 8 shots for Burton, 2 of them on target, none in the net. I think this was probably the right result on that case. So Peterborough versus a Plymouth side that have equally started to play some good football and equally started to turn it round. And I think it's going to be, I'm going to agree with you lot, 3-2, 3-1, 2-0, 3-0. I think Peterborough will use the home advantage here and the crowd, and I think it's going to be Peterborough 3, Plymouth 0. Let's unfortunately go to my side, Stockport County versus Rotherham United, and we go Stockport in 4th, Rotherham in 22nd. And Stockport lose, win, draw, lose, win. A win at home to Huddersfield 1-0. We will brush over the 2-1 win at home to Harrogate Town in the Mickey Mouse Trophy. We'll go Stockport 1 and Huddersfield 0. In the 90 plus 6 minute from Kyle Wootton. What an escape this is. And these two can be really good in defence. And I tell you what, they were good against Huddersfield. They kept the ball. 67% possession to Stockport County, 33 to Huddersfield. Huddersfield reduced to just 7 shots, 3 on target, none in the net. They would usually get a goal from just 3. In fact, they have been getting one or 2 goals from 3 shots on target. They would have been bitterly disappointed that from their 3 shots on target, one of them didn't go in the net. Stockport, 15 shots, 5 on target, 1 in the net. You know, they would have been hoping for a lot more than just 1 and made it a little bit easier, a little bit earlier than just that late in the game, wouldn't they? Rotherham United, then, what can we say? Lose. Yeah, so we've been 7 games defeated here. The last 6, 1-0 defeat, 3-1 defeat, 2-1 defeat, 4-0 defeat, 2-0 defeat, 3-0 defeat. The 4-0 defeat to Blackpool should have been at least 6. The 3-0 defeat last time out in the Mickey Mouse Trophy should have been at least 4, 5, 6 again. The last home game was the last league game. Rotherham 0, Peterborough 2. Rotherham scored one of them, of course, on 61 minutes, Rafferty for Peterborough, and Peterborough added in 73rd minute, and really this game should have been at least 4 or 5-0. 20 shots for Peterborough from their 65% possession. Out of those 20 shots, 7 of them landed on target, only 2 in the net. They would have been hoping for at least 3 or 4 from this. They reduced Rotherham to just 3 shots on target, and I think they came in the last 20 minutes. Let's be realistic there. So what are you saying? A really strong Stockport County side at home against a really, really poor Rotherham. 3-1s, 3-0s, 2-0s. I think you're right. I think Stockport will get at least 3 here. That might even be 4, 3 or 4-1. I think Rotherham will score. I don't know why, because they haven't been able to for several games. I'm going to go with Stockport 3, Rotherham 1. I think I'm being nice to my side there. Please do like and subscribe. And it's John Esser Sports Channel. Remember, do support the channel, do like and subscribe, and click the bell, and I'll see you with the next League One prediction.